Welcome back to Mothlight TV, folks, for another episode of the Lucasi West Coast Tour from On Cue Billiards in La Mesa. This is the San Diego stop 2 of the tour. And here we have Winnie Tolentino. He's a local player from San Diego. Fargo is 650, so he's just 1 point below being a semi-pro. He'd have had to race to 8, but now he's classed as a veteran, so he's racing to 7. As his opponent James Harris from Bakersfield, California. He's at 596, Fargo. And just played it safe there. He had no offensive option on the 1. And not quite sure from this angle. I think the 7's got him partially hooked. If you can see sufficient of the 1 to play a combination onto the 3, you'd have to be able to hit the left-hand side of it as he looks at it. But he's gone for the jump stick, so that tells me he's got to jump over the edge of the 7 if he wants to make that combo. I don't think he can pot the 1 directly past the 3. Well, it was a good hit, but nowhere near the combo. But not left an awful lot. I think it's a cut in the top right pocket. How are you going to get onto the 2 ball? I do not know. Well, he had a plan. And he finished up quite nicely on the 2 as it happened. Played with a bit of top and left. So this looks like a big pocket to me, the bottom right. Not quite as big as it could be if the red was just slightly to the left, but you can play into the rail, and if you get within that first diamond to the pocket, it should go off the 3. And then you can either play behind the 2 as a combination onto the 6, or you can try and get it back where it is now. So he's played for the combo, slotted that one in very nicely. You don't want to lose the 2 to the short rail, so if you do play it rail first, and that's what he seems to be looking at, gives you the better chance of potting the 6, but also the 2's kind of going to be going towards the 9 after making contact with the 6, so whether you played it a little firmer to try and get it over that top right, or just keep it nice and slow to stay by the top left. Well, he played it direct, and indeed, the 2 has gone over towards the 9, so it's a thin cut in the top right, and play with a little bit of left, I'd say, to try and come between the 5 and the long rail. That way you can avoid traffic and get down table for the 3. Oh, this is a lovely shot. Look at this. Absolutely perfect. And now a dead weight roll. Drop the 3 in, and you'll go just past the pocket line. Don't think you can hold beneath it. But if you go above it, you'll be fine. You've got an angle there to get up for the 5. Looking good now. And ideally you'd want to get just above the pocket line on that 5. So get the cue ball just past the center line of the table. He's going to be short of that, so you will have to travel away from the 7 and then come back towards it. Options, well, he seems to be going below centre. You could stun it with a bit of left, hit the short rail to the left of the 9. He's come round. He did lose check, but he was happy to just let the cue ball take a natural sort of angle and then check it off the short rail. And this is okay. All he has to do is make the pot, and he's guaranteed shape on the 8. A trace of left, maybe a quarter of a tip, half a tip would help. Get the cue ball out into the middle of the table. Well, he's not gotten out into the middle, but he's okay with this angle, I think. He can just drop it in and find the gap between the 9 and the short rail. and take the 9 into the same pocket. Once again, a little bit of left spin will help widen the angle when that cue ball hits the rail. He's preferred to stun it across. That's a nice shot. He took out the potential of covering with the 9 completely with that, so very excellent shot. Good choice. And completes the run out, so the first rack goes to Winnie. And in this format, it's alternate breaks, so James will be breaking on all the even numbered frames, so frame 2 here. And he's come up dry too. Neither of them really going for the cut break, where you play fairly thick on the one with draw and a bit of spin. Try and squeeze it into the opposite side pocket than you're breaking from. That's the shot that most of the pros and the top players seem to have mastered. So what do you do here? You could try the thin cut, but if you want to get shape on the 2, make it worth your while, you've got to hit both short rails and come back down table. Got it a bit thin, but he's fluked a ball. Don't know if that's done him any favours. Got a pretty tough shot here. Got the right hand edge of the one to aim at. So I think it's a thin edge safety. I think that's what he played, but he's caught it quite thick and the one's come up table as well, so left an opportunity for James. Don't know if he can take an offensive shot. I think maybe the 3 is potentially in the way for the bottom right, so you go in the bottom left, it's a cut back. It will definitely pass the 5. And then whether you're going to just play off one rail, the right hand long rail. Yeah, he's collided with the 3. I think that's interfered with the path from the 2 to the pocket, so maybe won't have an offensive option here. In terms of playing a good safety, stun forward, bank the 2. He just rolled forward. Yeah, I think 2's gone right over the pocket. And he's not got a full hook on it, I think. He could be jumping over the edge of this 3 and try and cut that in. If you can get anywhere near thin enough, should avoid the 7 and have sufficient pace to come all the way back down for the 3. So you just try and find the centre line of the cue ball, because you don't want any left or right spin which are going to make the cue ball swerve offline when it hits the bed of the table. Nice shot. Oh, he just clipped the 8. Could have done without that. But he has the shot. It's a thin cut, and the cue ball is going to be going all the way up again, so just have to be careful not to hook himself behind the 6 if he's trying to get on that 5 into the centre. And you want to avoid all the traffic ideally. So I think top and a trace of right, maybe one tip of right. Makes the pot a little harder, but cue ball would be going up the centre of the table. Let's see what Winnie does. I think he did check that a little. He's going to kiss the 9 though. But I think that's okay. There's a nice gap through. But maybe that 9's blocked the path of the 6 to the corner. So he's just looking. It will pass the 8 in the top left. So that's his mission now, to get over that side of the table, the right hand side. So we're playing this with a trace on left hand side. Needs to roll. He's coming up short. So he's probably going to collide with a 9 here. Just having a look to see what kind of collision would knock it in. That might be the goal here. Or you pot the 6 and you give the 9 a chance of going in. There you go. Why not just pot them both? So when he wins that rack, he's leading 2-0 with the break. And got the cut break that time. 1 flew in. How's the 2 going to finish? That looks good. It will definitely go in this bottom left, and just has to negotiate a path to the 3. The immediate obstacle is the 6 and the 9 as well. So following forward through that gap would be very difficult indeed. I don't know if you can put sufficient left-hand spin on here to get past the 9. Below it. Well, he's quite happy to play the snooker, and that's a good shot. Not quite locked up against the 6, so he has got to kick 2 rails here. I went direct, just 1 rail, and caught the 4, so it's ball in hand for Winnie. His safety has yielded dividends for him. Just putting his finger where he wants the cue ball there. With the 3 and 4 being so close, if he got straight-ish on that 3, could just draw back and leave himself an angle on the 4 to get up for the 5. So wants to be straight on the 3 here. That looks pretty good. Just a delicate little draw shot, a few inches back. Stay below the pocket line on the 4. And now, do you go with 2 rails? I think so. Try and hit the middle diamond of this lower part of the short rail on the left, long rail on the left. And then the middle diamond over there on the upper part. Well, he's gone through the gap between the 8 and the 9. Played it nicely. I think I would have avoided that rope because it was more likely to result in a collision. But it worked out perfectly for him. He's just a little thinner than he would like. So he's got to concern himself with finishing behind the 9. He's playing for the 6 in the same pocket. He's put quite a bit of check on that, and so he avoided any collisions. But now this is mighty fine. It's still cuttable. And you've got to check the cue ball again, I think. And the check side here, the inside, does help you get a thin cut. I find that's one way to get the best throw. But he's going to scratch here. Oh dear. His safety didn't work out that time. And that sold out this 3rd rack. I think James' his favourite now to run these out. Really good line towards the 7. Can just draw back to past where he is now, or is he following forward? Yeah, that's the shot, the draw shot. But that little graze on the 9 could have gone wrong in so many ways, but it's okay. Just drop the 8 in. The game's yours. Oh dear. Cued across that one slightly. He got up quickly. Don't know whether that was just an anomaly, bit of a poor stroke. The final delivery. So Winnie has a reprieve. What's he going to do with this? Looking at the pot. Cut back into this bottom left. I think that's the go. I I don't see an easy safety. You may as well attack. If you pot this, you've won the game. That's a bit thin though. Got it too much. And the chance passes back to James, so he needs one good shot here to redeem himself from that relatively simple 8 that he missed a moment ago. And it can motivate you sometimes, missing a ball like that. You really steel yourself and bear down on the next attempt you've got. And in this case, if you can make this, we'll forget all about the earlier miss. That's most excellent. He was just rolling on a little past the ideal. But I fancy him to get this and get his name on the score sheet. And he'll be breaking in the 4th rack. Excellent shot. What kind of break can he muster here? Well, he's just gone for power in the split, but nothing down. No attempt at the cut break. I'm pretty sure that when he's got a shot at this, it's tight past the 4. But after that, I'm not sure that that 2 will go past the 8 into the top left. And other options, I think it only really has one pocket. I think it's got the bottom right and you'd need to get behind it. Short side if you wanted to make that, so can't see that happening. Yeah, he's just played down towards it. Does he think he can squeeze this in? And if you can just miss the 8, maybe there's enough of the pocket showing to fall off that right-hand jaw. No, he's far too cagey. I'm always calling the offensive shot, and when he's thinking of something more devious, and he's got nicely up against the 7, so James is kicking down table. He's going to hit the 8, I think. Yeah, that's a foul. Well, at least I thought it was. Yeah, he's saying that he hit his own ball. So let's have another look. Well, it's hard to tell. And from his perspective, he thought he hit the 2, so shooter gets the benefit of the doubt where you don't have a referee. And it was certainly very close. I mean, my instinct was that he'd hit the 8, but when you frame by frame it, the actual frame where things move, the 8 moved more than the 2, but the 2 did move in the same frame, so you can't really differentiate. Okay, it hit the 8 ball thicker and transferred more momentum to it, but it could have grazed the 2 thin, so got to give the benefit of the doubt to the shooter there. He's left a 2 on here. It's a bit flat though. Pretty much all he could do, drop it in, leave yourself a long 3. Another one where you just try and cue it nice and smooth. Just trundle through a little distance and you'll have a shot on the 4. But went for the punch. I preferred to put his stroke out and just rattled it. 2 schools of thought there with that particular shot. Obviously playing it with more pace. Means you've got to be more accurate, but some people would prefer to let the cue action out and get the cue through the ball. Other players like to just float it, and you're given every chance by playing it at that sort of pace. It can go in off either of the jaws. And there's far less chance of putting more body movement unintentionally into the stroke when you do that gentle type of movement. The only thing you've got to be careful of is just getting through the ball, that you don't like choke the cue and decelerate. So James has got an easy 3 to begin, but the check side he's put has just killed the cue ball completely. Offensively, he can just try and bank this, I think, cross side, and he'll have a shot on the 5. You need to cut it a little bit, I think. because right now it's going to come up short if he hits it full ball. Not interested, playing the safety behind the 6-7, and he's achieved it. Good shot. Maybe I should start thinking a bit more defensively as well if I'm calling on these attacking shots than these guys. Playing a bit more safety in mind. 2 rails. He's caught the underside of it. He's knocked the 8 in. He's snookered though, I think. No shot to continue on the 4. May have a very thin edge on the left hand side. If you wanted to try and do that to play safe. Alternately, it's a kick once again. You could try and get behind it, and if you hit it full, the cue ball's got to pretty much stay there. Be able to get a nice separation. I think he's just looking where the 4 goes if he does that. And if he catches this full, good things could happen. Unfortunately, the 4 is running to the 5, so it stays close at hand and doesn't run on behind the 9. Won't go past the 5 though. He's got to try and drop this in the corner. Not quite accurate enough, but it's gone pretty safe. Yeah, with that 4, I think if he could have got within that first diamond from the bottom right corner, would have dropped. But he was just slightly above that. So you're trying to bank this all the way up the table? You're trying to catch the thin edge? Yeah, I think you get better results with the thin edge, but where's the cue ball? He's found the scratch once again. That's a couple of times that's happened. And needed a bit more spin to avoid it, or to catch the 4 thinner, because the thickness that he caught it, he did end up leaving it right over the hole. So a nice chance for James. It's a bit tricky to get on the 6 though from here. It's pretty comprehensively blocked by that 7 into all pockets bar the right centre. Do not adjust your sets. We just had a slight momentary focusing problem with the AI camera. It's occasionally done that. Tends to correct itself pretty quickly. So yeah, I don't know what sort of shot he would have had next. Maybe a bank, but sometimes when you don't have a clear plan in mind, you can end up missing the shot, and maybe that's what happened there. My take on this is to bank the 5 pretty much straight across the table. You're catching it slightly to the left, so the cue ball will then roll over behind those 3 balls. I think that's what I'd go for. There's a thin cut if he wants to attack. And that's what he did. And he's got a good result out of that. But the 7 is still a problem here. Even were he to miss this, 6 to the 7. Good kick. He's going to get away with it. Oh, there's a cut here for Winnie. I think you can go across the table, hit both long rails, and come out. Leave yourself an angle on the 6. You could play short side of that 7 into the right centre. That way you're not trying to break anything out. Bit thin though here. Harder to control the cue ball, the thinner the shot is. He needs a bit of bottom and some little bit of check side. But that point, where's he pointing to there? Can he get the 7 from there? It looks to me as though the 9's blocking the shot into the left centre, but could be deceiving this camera angle. We'll soon see by how he plays this one. So he did cut it with a bit of check, but no bottom. There's the consequences in the different half of the table. He could just play a safety and try and knock the cue ball up behind the 9. Or maybe banking the 7 at the same time. Yeah, but he's let the cue ball out. He needed to sort of like stun through. And this is a gift for James, a chance to level the match up. Made sure of that one, but not the ideal shape on the 9. A little bit of a smelly cut. Very fine into the top left, but I think you've got to go for the cut here, as opposed to the bank, but it depends how you see it. Some players, they can see the bank straight away, they like to play that. Looks like he's cutting it, bit of right hand side. Very nice. So it's 2 each. It's going to be Winnie breaking, rack 5. Makes the cut break once again, but a few kisses happen and the cue ball gets trapped up there near the short rail and 2's come all the way down table, so pretty tricky. There is an angle and a line to get between the 5 and the long rail and go up table again for the 3, so you will think he'll be attacking here. Playing this with I'm just going to take the template out. Yeah, I think it's plain ball. We're just top, no English. And you can hit that first diamond from the right hand corner pocket and go up and hit the 3rd diamond on the long rail on the bottom right hand side of the table. And then get up there for the 3. And the cue ball's perfect, just a little bit pacey. But the 2, he was a little bit too thin. But no damage done. It's kick only for James. Don't think he can really jump that. And it's a simple kick anyway. Wow. What a shot that was. And he's not going to get anything from it as the cue ball spins on. And he's in a bit of bother here. Got a kick again. How's this going to finish? I think there's a chance here for Winnie. Could perhaps slot that in. He has to try and get back down the table, however, so I think bottom left is the go. Try and get below that right hand centre pocket. Oh, I'm gone. He's missed the 3. He's got a fantastic snooker. Yeah, not bad little roll of the ball there. This could be a jump opportunity. Only jumping over the edge of the 8, so really you're just getting up and over the 6. And then your options are to hit it fullish and try and bank the 3, which I'd be more inclined to do, than the cut into the corner where the cue ball could scratch in the opposite corner. Yeah, I think the bank gives you more chance of getting it safe as well. That's what he tried, and he has indeed got it safe. He's got a hook out of it, so takes the initiative in this safety exchange. Once again, it's a 2-rail kick, trying to catch that red full in the face. Need the cue ball behind and get the red down table, hopefully behind 6, 8 or 9. A little bit of right hand side. Oh, he's not caught it full, so cue ball's travelling on. And he's left a shot, but it's tree-topped over the top of that 6 ball, so it's not easy by any means. Certainly not easy to control the cue ball and get it down where you want it to be on the 4. Yeah, he's missed the pot by some distance. And the 3's come down to offer Winnie a thin cut into the bottom left. I'd be trying to play that with top and left hand spin. So inside English to come across below the 5 for the 4 in the same pocket as the 3. Just looking now, I think that finger on the cushion indicates where he wants it to strike. Well, he's kissed the 5, but that's no disaster. He can still cut this 4 in, so well executed. Slightly overcut the 3 and didn't quite gauge the path of the cue ball, but if he can cut this in and avoid the 5 like that, he could be in a good position here. Looks to be fairly flat on the 5. So if the green passes the brown into the centre, oh, he's just drawn back for the corner. That's much easier, simpler, and less risk involved. It's just a stop shot now on the 6 and another on the 7. You might play with a bit more ambition to get a bit closer to the 8 to make shape for the 9 easier, but oh my goodness me, what happened there? See, it happens to all of us. That little momentary lapse of some kind, or some little unintended movement of the cue. So James pounces on this opportunity. He can take the lead here and punish Winnie for that miss. Oh, the check side has really killed the cue ball here. Side pocket. Very nice. Coming round. Straight 9. Long 9 in the corner to take the lead. The first time in this match. Yeah, James is breaking as well. Rack 6. Oh, he's scratched. And the 2 is nicely over the side pocket, so a welcome opener for Winnie to try and make amends for his selling out the last game. think the 3 may be blocked into the top right by the 9, but you've got it in the top left. And you've got to come back down for the 4 and the 5. So sometimes it's actually not easy when balls are right over the pocket to control the cue ball. I think you just got to draw back about 2 foot here. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe slightly further than would have been ideal. But I think he can just avoid the 6 and pop it off that long rail for the 4. Yeah, excellent. So the 4-5, no problem. It's 5 to the 6 that's the tricky part. If you get the cue ball somewhere near where it is now after the 5, he'd be happy with that, I think. But yeah, you've got a zone somewhere to the left of that as well. So anywhere but straight on that 6, and you can get over for the 7 easy enough. So a little flat on this. Key shot. Well, the line is good. And he's practiced these many times. Don't want to be straight on the 7. Oh, and he's rattled the 6. Once again, he played that quite hard. I don't know if it was necessary to hit it quite so firmly. So James has got an opportunity once again with only a few balls left. Oh, he's missed the 6 and hook. So nobody wants this rack. Both spurning opportunities. Yeah, I think he wants to just get the rack out. Nobody likes to play slowly over the template. It can cause the ball to deviate. So key shot coming up now. He's got to not only hit this, but trying to get it to a safe position. And it wouldn't be a disaster if he caught it very thin. Hit the 2 rails and caught the green super thin, then he'd get separation. And he's caught it quite thick. I'm not sure. I think that 7 might be doing him a favour here and preventing James from potting that 6 in the top left. In which case, I can't see much of an attacking option if that's not available to him. Some type of defence. Well. I'm not quite sure what he was after there. Maybe a hook behind the 8. Very fortunate not to scratch. That would have sold out the game straight away. The 6 is on in the bottom left, and you can play it in such a way that you're leaving the 7 in the same pocket and pretty much guaranteeing a hook on the 6, provided you get close to the pocket and it stays in that zone, that area. He's just going to the top of the cue ball, so maybe just trying to roll. Wow. Yeah, maybe he didn't think he could get to the bottom of the cue ball to do the necessary. Would have had to jack up a lot. He was in an awkward spot, that's for sure. And too thin from James. But once again, he's got away with it. So it's a safety only. I mean, you could take the bank on in the pocket where he's just put his chalk down. You could do that. You could play the cue ball over to the right. But I think the shot I would play here would be ultra thin on the left of the green as we look at it, with lots of right-hand side, to spin the cue ball around 2 rails and get it over. Try and find the gap between the 7 and the long rail, and then get yourself either behind the 7 or behind the 8. And try not to move the 6 an awful lot. Maybe you're cutting it to the middle of the rail. So yeah, super thin. When he's just applying the extension to his cue. So he appears to be going thin, but not with much spin. In fact, he's got left hand English on it. That was just to keep the cue ball on a straight line coming up, so no attempt to hide behind the other balls. But he'd control the 6 very well. And that is dead stone safe on that cushion. No bank available. So your options here are a bit limited. You can try and bank it down towards the 9. Kiss the 9, you're going to leave a long shot. You can try and bank it to the long round, just get it past the side pocket. And that's also going to leave a long shot. I don't think there's enough of a gap for you to try and get behind it to do a kick and stick. So he's driven it round the table. And he's got a bit of separation between the 2 balls, but this 6 is very makeable. Can't do an awful lot with the cue ball. Ideally, you'd want to put a bit of right-hand side and slightly below centre striking to get around those 2 rails. But I think you just got to try and stroke it in. And hold round about the middle of the table. You're going to have a thin 7. As long as you stay in the centre, even that left-hand centre pocket, you've got a makeable shot. But you're kind of committing yourself. You're going all in, rolling it at that pace. So he's played it more firmly. So an element of safety in mind. He's knocked the 9 safe, and he's got the 6 pretty safe. So cross-side bank, maybe, if you can avoid the double kiss. Or go for the corner pocket bank, control the cue ball back over behind the 7. Very nice. Good shot that is. So James sees the initiative in this safety exchange when he's got problems here. Bit close to the 7 to try and jump it. But not impossible. Yeah, I think he's going for the short stick. When you've got a chance, you're going to go for the bank. In the top left. So somewhere between half and 3/4 ball on the 6. Oh dear, bit of a rushed final delivery, and the miscue is going to cost him there, I think. As James has ball in hand. And just 4 balls remaining for him to consolidate his lead and go 2 up. So that was a telling safety, the shot that he played, gave him this opportunity. And this simple 9 for 4-2. Winnie with the break. Needing to get it back on the board. Yeah, I think he lost 4 on the spin, hasn't he? So nothing down. And a chance for the 1 in the bottom left for James. Nicely played. Stand out beautifully for the 2. I think it's a straight draw back for the 3. You don't have to come particularly far. The angle's quite nice if you just come back a few inches, in fact. Yeah, slightly awkward here. I don't think the 4 passes the 7, so you've got to get down the table for the 4 in the side. And now the 5 is a bit difficult to get to with the 6-8 where they are. And he's flattish on this, so a bit limited as to the lines he can get the cue ball on to get it into that target zone. A lot of top coming round. Yeah, I don't think he has a shot here now. Certainly not an offensive one. I think the 8 blocks this bottom corner, and it may just go in that right side, but very thin, and the cue ball will be running wild. So you could just try and thin off the edge on the right of that 5 as we look at it, and bring the... Oh, he's looking at the 5 in the side. We could bring the cue ball down, I was going to say, and put it behind the 7. Just cutting the 5 to the side rail, but he's going, I think. Attack in the side pocket. And just too thick at the point. With the 5 going, it's going to dress up for Winnie. So yeah, the problem was having to play for the 4 in the side. That's where things started to unravel. So I come across at the right hand long rail. And now left hand long rail with a little bit of left, a little bit of backspin. Lovely shot. Nicely controlled. So you could go bottom right here. Or, in fact, you could go with a lot of left as well. Just run it round, but I think he's playing the former of those 2 options. Yeah, it's a nice line. And just a stroke here, nice, clean, smooth stroke. No need to do a lot. He's been playing these quite firm. He's been punching them. Yeah, he likes to punch them, and that's what he done there. That one very clean. Not ideal shape, but I think he'll get this. Most players play this with a bit of bottom and right. as does Winnie, and he's got one back on the board. So now just one behind, and rack 8, so James with the break. Almost got the one in the side, but it looks like a pretty safe result. Could be a push out. I don't know if he's got any chance of making contact with that one past the 7. You could maybe put a bit of side on it and try and swerve the cue ball a little if it's close. And it seems to be fairly close. But on that right hand side to swerve, but also keep it away from the 5-3 and allow the cue ball to just travel straight back up the table towards the 2. So he seems to be going for the short stick here. Oh no, this is normal playing cue. I thought he was going to try and jump over the edge. So, but he's just pushing out. I'm trying to just leave James with no easy shot. Certainly no shot to attack. He could just bank the 1 down and hide easily behind the 5-3 though. I don't think the 1's gone far enough there. It's in the 8. It's an easy out, easy escape for Winnie. That's a pretty good kick. Cue ball didn't move an awful lot, but it's left a slim chance of an early 9 for James here. I think it'd be too much for him to resist. Yeah, didn't quite catch it right. Well, that's not bad. I think he can see the 1. If he can see it full enough, he could just stun the cue ball dead. Or maybe just stun forward a little. Yeah, just prefer to roll the balls, so he's never going to get tight up against an object ball that way. But maybe that was all he could do. Well, for a minute, it doesn't look like there's any sort of gap between the 6-9. Is he going for the jump cue? Indeed he is. So jump to cut it in, or jump to bank it past the 9. If the bank's on, I would prefer to play that really. Getting more of the 1. Oh, hang on, he's banked the 1 at the 9. Where's the 9 going? Oh, there you go. Good things can happen when you get the 9 ball rolling. So it's 5-3. James now leads, Winnie with the break. So the 2's down, the 1's down. He's got a nice shot on the 3. And he can follow forward, I think, or even just draw back into the 5, but maybe following forward's the preferable of the 2 options. I don't know, I think you use the 5 as a stopper. If you just stun it, maybe stun back a little bit, a couple of inches, and you just clear the 5 out of the way. Yeah, he's able to go forward, but I think he's hooked himself. Needed to have a lot more spin on to avoid the line of that 5, the way he was following forward there. Bit unlucky. If it had just caught it thinner, he'd have squeezed past it, but wasn't the ideal line for the cue ball to be on. And there's a chance, I think. A bit thin, but still available for James. May need the bridge. Play it with a bit of left-hand English. Will help throw that ball in. Get the cue ball around 2 rails, going up towards the 5. I think it passes the 8 in the left centre. Let's see what kind of spin he puts on. Well, he seems to be going to the right of centre. Yeah, that was the more direct route towards the 5. Good shot. But the cut he's got here, he's going to have to try and avoid the 9, unless he wants to get the 9 moving, of course. He's done it once already. But yeah, you'd be otherwise playing with a bit of bottom and left or right spin. He's put left on, and he's done well there. Very well, look at that. In fact, he's a little bit flat. He wanted more of an angle to get back up for the 7, so I think he's ever so slightly off angle. So you can follow forward and catch the short rail, maybe by that first diamond from the bottom left pocket, with lots of top and right hand side, and then you can push the cue ball around that angle and get up to the top right of the table. But his drawing it is obviously flatter than I thought, with bottom and left. Reverse side. Well, he's got the spin, but he's got to catch the 9. Yeah, needed more spin, more side to really go wider to have the shot on the 7. But he's not in a bad shape here. He can bank the 7 down the table if he wants to go for the pot, and just leave the cue ball hiding behind the 9. And if it goes in, he'll have a shot at the 8. Well, if you want to forego that offensive option, just go very, very thin off the 7 and bring the cue ball down behind the 8 and 9. But he's gone rail first, so he's kicked the 7 all the way down table. That's a good shot. Excellent separation, and no viable pot really for Winnie in that corner. And it's a bit of a risky bank shot. So the safety, maybe just bank it down, catch the 7 on the right. He's caught it on the left and tried to put it in the middle of that rail. So there is a bank opportunity for James, but by no means straightforward. The cue ball's got to be going away from the 8, I think, if he makes this. Just cut it a bit too much, guiding that cue ball around for shape on the 8. But no big damage done. Bit tricky, this situation for Winnie. I don't see a lot of offensive options. Maybe you're just trying to bank this 7 across below the 9, leave the cue ball and the 9 separated by the width of the table. But he's cut it and tried to seek cover behind the 8. Has he got the cover? Looks as though he might have it partially covered. Maybe he can't cut it in, but he can hit the right hand side of it. In which case you could play a cross corner bank down in the bottom right. Oh, he's fully snookered, he's kicking. Nice hit, very good square contact. Drives the 9 a long way away and gets good separation. I'm not sure if he's got full cover either. He seems to have at least partial cover behind the 8. So a bit of a swerve coming up. downward striking and extreme right-hand spin. Makes a good contact. Just got the 9 past the side, but this is the first opportunity really on this 7 in this safety bout. And it's a stroke that he can just gently roll in and roll forward to leave himself on the 8. Oh, that's a lovely stroke. Rattled a little bit, but dropped. And he has a tough 8 in the bottom right, but it's one he's going to go for. He's going to draw back onto the long rail to leave the 9 into the top right. Oh, look at this kiss. Oh, he's on fire now. This is for getting himself on the hill. Very nice by James. 6-3. He leads and has the break in rack 10. Nothing down. And an opportunity for Winnie to win the next 4 racks. And he's just squeezed past the 2. Not sure if he can draw back directly into those clustered 3 ball and 4 ball. I think he's got slightly too much angle to do that. But he could definitely get himself up the table and below, above the 3. But I don't see an attacking option after that. Yeah, he's now only got the thin edge of the 3, so we'll be playing that cue ball onto the short rail, and then I imagine between the 9 and the 5 and all the way back down here. Although he's just gone across the other side of the table trying to get cover, but he's not gotten it. And so a chance for James, if he can see enough of this to cut in. Been hard to tell from this angle. But there is a bit of distance between the 4 and the 3, so maybe he can get through. Yeah, he's looking at the cut. I caught it well too thin. So it's obviously available. I'm not sure if he's got cover in this 6 ball. Looking at Winnie's body language, he's looking where the 3 is. Yeah, he's kicking at this. He's obviously got the cover. And could be in a bit of bother after this one. And you've got a chance, if you wanted, you could do the carom and try and knock the 5 in, but I think banking the 3 and leaving the cue ball tight up behind the 9 there. Look at that. That looks like a cracking snooker. He's touching the 9. The 3's right over the pocket. So he's got to kick at this and try and move the 3. Coming this way, he's got a better chance of hitting it, but not much chance at all of knocking it in. I don't think you could come just one rail on the long rail on the right hand side. I think the 6 is in the way. And he's missed it. So ball in hand for James. And this is a great opportunity to take the rack and the match. Everything's in the open. Now the 5 is clear and the 6 is clear. So you just have to get good shape here on the 4. And that's pretty good. Where are you going to put the 6? And that 9 is the interfering ball here. It'd be simple to go 5 to 6 if it wasn't there. So you can just try and roll and control the cue ball past that 9 and leave the 6 in the bottom right. He's coming twice across. This is a nice shot. I do like this. Yeah, he's got a perfect line there. Pace judgment was also excellent. So now I put this in with a bit of bottom and right hand side and get down table close to that pocket line on the 7. Ideally just a bit past it, it'd be perfect. But he's a bit short for that. So cue ball travelling away from the 8. He's going to have to come down and back up. 8 won't pass the 9 in the top right, so he's got to try and get it in the side pocket where his hand is. Where's he going? He's going to stick right on it. Looks to the heavens. Of all the places on the whole table, if it stops any shorter or carries on any further, he's guaranteed a pot. But now is he looking at this combination? Is he frozen to that 8? Well, if he's frozen, he can play forward. That's the one occasion when you can play a push shot and you're deemed to have hit it legally. If there was no gap, if they took the ball to touching, that shot's fine. But if there's a tiny gap, then that shot is a foul because it's a double hit. So a bit of a contradiction because obviously that was a double hit as well, but it's deemed to be a legal stroke. Bit of an anomaly in the rules. So is he trying to bank this? Have to drive it into the rail firmly. Oh, he's just played safe. That's a cracking shot. He's definitely got the advantage now. With a 9 where it is. I think you could potentially go for the bank in the top left pocket. But it's very risky. It's a low percentage. And he's playing with a lot of top and left. He's trying to get the cue ball to come round and knock the 9 in. But instead that scratch, I think he's going to be curtains. He's going to say, no, you're all right, Winnie. You can take that one. Don't need to pot those last 2 balls. So he's breaking here in rack 11. 4-6 down. 2 behind with 3 to play. Got the 1. Not sure if he can play a carom here. Get back off the 2 to knock the 3 in. One way to carry on the break. Have to jack up considerably and get some draw on the cue ball, but 3's so close to the pocket that you get it right. Could be off to the races. Yes, indeed. Controls the 2 beautifully. So just drops this in and he'll have the 5 in the bottom right. 6 is waiting, the 7's there. Oh, hang on a minute, the 4's still on the table. So yeah, he's got to get from the 2 to the 4. That's a bit more tricky because I think it won't pass the 9 in the top left. He's just having another look at this. Yeah, when they start bending down, you know it's tight. So you could just try and play the cue ball around off 2 rails, follow forward, short rail, long rail on the left, and then towards the 4 for the top right. You don't want to play this too powerfully. Seems to be going below centre though. You could draw straight out into the middle of the table. Oh wow, what a shot that is. He's comboed in the 5. I did not see that one coming. He's in a spot of bother though, because Proximity of that 6 means very, very difficult getting the cue ball back up for the 4. If you do a deep draw shot, you've got to put the 2 in, hit the long rail, and then fizz back up the table without catching that 6, which could just kill all the momentum of the cue ball and keep it trapped here. Power required. Well, he did catch the 6, and that did interfere with the cue ball's path. It put it on that straight line up the table and took some pace out of it. He wanted to try and get it over to the left, I think. So where do you go with this? You could try the corner pocket bank. He surely does. He likes that one. Beautiful shot. Looking good again now to pull another one back. Just has to get up the table at least a foot or so, 18 inches. Don't need to get all the way up because he needs an angle off the 7 to get up for the 8. That looks pretty good. So with a bit of bottom and right hand side, trying to catch that. Yeah, very, very kindly indicating where he wants to hit that rail. And that's a great tip, folks. If you pick a point on the rail that you want to hit, set out with that intention. It's very helpful. Now, as you see, he's gone slightly past the point that he aimed at, but by setting that goal, if he gets either side of it, if he gets close to it, he's still going to have a good shot. So, good tip for all you aspiring players. And just following this forward. That's not ideal line. Don't know if he was trying to stay on this side of it or get a bit further over to the left, but this is a mighty fine cut. Not the kind you want when you're running out. But it's done well. That's an excellent shot. So it's 6-5 now, and it's rack 12. So James with the break. And nothing down, but he's got a good cover, I think, on the 1. So a push out will probably be coming up here. Yeah, I think you've got to push all the way down to this corner if you want to keep the 1 safe. I mean the bottom right corner of the table. But instead of which, he's left a shot, deliberately leaving the 1, trying to leave the cue ball tighter under the rail, I think. But the 2 will pass those obstructing balls into the top right, so if you can just drop this in, he will have a shot on the 2, albeit not one that could avail great shape on the 3. That's why he went for the cross corner bank. And I think he's got cover again behind the 6. He's swerving a little bit here. Oh, almost swerved and made the pot. But that's beautiful shape as well, but not bad. Not a bad leave. So I think safety is the order of the day for James. Thin edge on the left. Try and hide behind the 7-8. He's going to get there. He certainly is. Look at that. It's a beautiful shot. I think we're going to be seeing an airborne cue ball once again. Taking a little piece off the end of his air rush jump stick. At least I think it's the air rush. I saw one of them using one a moment ago. That may have been James. So, what's he going to do with this? Caught it nice and thin. Got good separation on the two balls, but there is a chance for James. But no real damage done. Another half chance available for Winnie. Certainly not easy to get back for the two. I think you could try cutting it in the bottom right and the cue ball would run round off 3 rails and be heading towards the two. I prefer that over the cut in the bottom left. It seems to be just banking this one down. Maybe trying to get it behind the obstructing balls down there. Yeah, that's pretty darn good. And the 5 ball, excellent cue ball, wired to this bottom rail. And that's a really nice kick, but it's not going to do many favours. Subsequent kiss on the 5 means it's a easy starter for Winnie. And he should be able to control the cue ball up for the 2 in the top right. Right now the 7-8 are the obstacles making the run out tricky. And the 3 is also tough to get on because of those 2 balls. Especially if he leaves himself a bit short here. I think he can follow forward with a tracer right and have a 3 ball in the top. Sorry, the bottom right hand corner pocket. Get fairly straight, you can then draw back for the 4. Yeah, I think that's the best way to shape for this 3 ball. Provided it's not too thin. I mean, could he get the cue ball over that side? Let's see. Weighing up his options. Is he trying to stun the cue ball behind the 9 around 2 rails? Looks like he could be doing. And so, what do you do now? Play a snooker? Just thin off the 3, get the cue ball behind the 7-8? Or is he trying to cross side bank it? No, it was the hook. But he's lost the cue ball once again. It's come out. That was pretty bad overestimation of the pace there. I expected him to get that. Didn't seem to have the necessary check side to kill the cue ball. It seems to have a running side to bring it right round that angle. But by no means easy, this. It's a chance to pot the 3, but You certainly can't get close to the 4. If you put it in the bottom right, he was going to be rolling towards the 5. Well, but he's jacking up, trying to hit the lower part of the cue ball, so he is going to try and draw the cue ball back. And he's moved everything. He's got cover as well, I think. Cue ball behind the 9. 7's in the way as well. So it's hard to tell whether he can catch the thin edge of the 3. Past that 9 ball. So a little bit fortunate from James. Seems to be swerving a touch. Oh, excellent. Caught the 3, made the carom to knock in the 8. 3 stayed safe though. He'll struggle to get another one here. And the safety's tricky. You've got to go paper thin on the right hand side of that 3. Trying to just cut it into the rail and to kiss the 7 and stay there. Stay safe. Get the cue ball round off 2 rails down towards the 5. Has he got enough of it to cut it in? Can he get through to that? Well, he tried. He caught it a little bit too thick. But it's pretty safe where it is. Not a bad leave. I think a couple of options for James, trying to bank the 3 down here towards this bottom right. Controlling the cue ball behind the 4-9 or thin edging it on the right. That's what he's tried, but he's caught too much of the 3. Yeah, he's sold out a shot here. It's pretty much a natural angle. The only problem with that is you leave yourself under the rail or too close to the rail. So you kind of want to stun this a little bit. But you need to go forward a bit. Make sure you don't get yourself anywhere behind that 6 ball. Yeah, you see he's hard and fast under that rail. So very limited with what he can do here. Really just probably drop the 4 in and accept. You're going to have that long 5. It'll be a nice angle. Could pop it in and get out for the 6. So yeah, I think you just take your medicine. Drop this in pocket speed. And it comes down to this shot. If this goes right, we're looking at a hill decider. If he misses, he could sell out the match. So we've seen so far he does like to punch these with stun. Oh, he played that with a lot of spin. A lot of spin. And he's cut it too thin. And this has got to be a chance now for James to seal the match. I think you play this with right hand English, bit of bottom. Try and come below the 6 for a shot in the top right, top left, sorry. But he seemed to be striking the cue ball top left there to try and. But surely you want to steer clear of the 9-7. Well, he has just about made it. Wiped his feet a bit on the way in, but he played at a good speed. And now he's got a shot at this 6 into the bottom pocket. But is he going to draw it in the centre? It's dead straight. That's really well done. And if he's got this 7 now, it could be all over. Oh, most excellent. So it's James Harris from Bakersfield, California. He's going to take this match by 7 racks to 5. And he's going to progress to the next round. So thanks for watching, folks. We do appreciate it. And check out the channel for more matches from this tournament.